Now, your forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, it's been a rather active Thursday overall as low pressure brought these rounds of showers. A really great day to just stay indoors. And now, as you can see on our satellite and radar, most of that precipitation has moved to the east of us, but there is still a pocket of some showers right around Springfield in some areas just north of Springfield as well. But for the rest of us, mainly dry, and we will be staying dry at least for the next 12 hours or so. But temperatures today about 20 degrees lower than what they were yesterday, into the 50s across the board still, and we will be dipping down into the upper 40s. So staying mild throughout our night, but more active rainy weather is in our future for our Friday and even into the weekend. I will be tracking those showers coming up. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
The state's stay-at-home order just got longer, but the governor's also working on restarting the economy.
So they rescheduled to have my knee replaced in March.
That surgery and countless others were delayed because of coronavirus, but not any longer.
Every time we think we've got it done, something else would happen.
And COVID-19 has put a lot of things on hold, including one family's adoption of their son. But this viral story has a happy ending.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
Next week, I intend to sign an extension of our stay-at-home order.
Governor Pritzker braced Illinois for the long haul today, announcing another month of staying home to slow the spread of COVID-19. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini. The governor's new modified order will relax some restrictions and slowly allow for parts of the economy to reopen. Our Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell is in Springfield.
Slowly but surely, Governor Pritzker cracked the door open to Illinois reviving its sputtering economy at the start of the month, but he threatened to slam that door shut again if the public doesn't obey his executive order to stay home, and if you must go out, wear a mask.
If we start to see crowds and people violating the order or breaking the rules, I will need to bring back these restrictions.
For the first time in more than a month, doctors can perform elective surgeries, golfers can book tee times, and travelers can visit state parks starting on May 1st. Those activities were all banned under Governor Pritzker's first two executive orders designed to slow the spread of the coronavirus. State House Republicans rejoiced at the relaxed rules, Senator Chapin Rose calling them long overdue. Republican leaders in the House and Senate said they were pleased at Governor Pritzker's direction, but felt he didn't go quite far enough. House Republican Darren Bailey challenged the limits of Governor Pritzker's executive authority in court, arguing his voters are ready to go back to work and resume a normal life. Governor Pritzker pointed to mathematical models to argue that could carry deadly consequences.
If we lifted the stay-at-home order tomorrow, we would see our deaths per day shoot into the thousands by the end of May, and that would last well into the summer. No amount of political pressure would ever make me allow such a scenario.
The federal government advised states not to open back up for business until they can detect a 2-week decline in new cases of COVID-19. And when Georgia's Republican governor pushed the envelope in the race to reopen, President Trump voiced his displeasure.
And I don't want this thing to flare up because you're deciding to do something that is not in the guidelines.
House Republican leader Jim Durkin said today's executive order still isn't final and could change, meaning life might get easier even before May 30th, especially if cases of the coronavirus continue to go down in Illinois. Governor Pritzker said in the meantime his team will continue to work on expanding testing and contact tracing, two key steps public health experts say we need to unlock the full economy. Reporting in Springfield, Mark Maxwell.
The governor's order requires everyone to wear a mask in public, and private businesses must enforce that on their premises. Essential businesses will also have to provide face covering for their workers effective May 1st. Now, as part of the changes to the stay-at-home order, non-essential retail businesses will now be allowed to do curbside pickup. That means you can come and get your order directly at the store. For many businesses, lifting that restriction could mean the difference between staying open or having to shut down. Limiting non-essential business by making them close their stores took a toll on revenue these past few weeks. Country Chicks in St. Joe is a small family-owned shop that sells home goods and decorations. It's considered non-essential by the government, so they've had to close their doors and rely solely on online orders.
I've always said to myself, I could probably make it a month, but I don't know if I can make it another month. And that's hard. I'll do my best. I have support. It's not that I don't. Thank God. And the customers that we do have been purchasing from us online.
As we said, this will take effect for all non-essential retail businesses starting May 1st. Several small businesses we spoke with say they're hopeful this will help sustain them through the rest of the stay-at-home order. Again, elective surgeries will soon be allowed again. Certain procedures were canceled when the order was first put into place, leaving some patients in pain wondering when they would be able to reschedule. WCIA 3's Jennifer Jensen has the story.
Roy Austin's knees have taken a beating through the decades.
They had a motorcycle accident years ago and played high school sports.
All the impact and injuries landed him in the doctor's office many times.
The knee itself hurts so bad that, even just sitting down, trying to sleep at night, I have to have painkillers, quite a bit of painkillers just in order to sleep.
In March, he went in for a pre-op appointment before his surgery.
They rescheduled to have my knee replaced in March, and that was literally like the same week that the quarantine came into effect.
Surgeries for cancer and emergency medical conditions could still be done, but elective surgeries like Roy Austin's were canceled during that time, with no end in sight to reschedule for a guaranteed surgery date.
It was a huge letdown because I've watched him be in pain for literally probably 2 years with this knee.
Kind of frustrating because it's not really elective. I mean, if I had my choice, I would not be in pain. I would not have to, wait.
It also put a strain on surgeons like Rafael Ruggieri with Christie Clinic.
We have studied for years to be able to help people. And it's really hard to have someone that needs your help and then have to tell them that they have to wait, that you can't help for a brief period of time.
Now that the governor has lifted the restrictions to allow elective surgeries during the remainder of the stay-at-home order, it's bringing some relief to those who have been waiting for this time to come.
There are several patients that I've been talking to, doing the best I can to encourage them when they're dealing with the symptoms of their disease process. And now it looks like we're going to be able to start doing some of those surgeries again really soon.
And that was Jennifer Jensen reporting. Also out of the governor's update today, Public Health says there are more than 1,800 new positive cases of COVID-19 in the state. Another 123 people have died. That brings the total number of cases to nearly 37,000. Nearly 1,700 people have died. In Sangamon County, Villa's senior care community in Sherman is reporting 4 more cases. One of those people is in the hospital. There are now 14 confirmed cases at the facility. 2 people have died. WCIA 3 is collecting masks for essential workers in Champaign County by hosting a mask drive. It'll be Tuesday in our back parking lot in Champaign. You should follow CDC guidelines for mask making and put them in a sealed plastic bag. On Tuesday, you can drive up, toss your mask into a bin, drive off with no contact. We have a link with instructions on how to make face masks on our website. In other news, police are investigating a deadly shooting in Decatur. It happened this afternoon near East William and North Stone. Police say a 17-year-old was found dead at the scene. That person's identity has not been released. Police are asking anyone with information to call them. A University of Illinois police officer has been charged in 4 separate cases of sexual assault and abuse involving 4 victims. Gerald Sandage was charged today for crimes that spanned between 2012 and 2019. Cases involved either penetration or other sexual acts. All victims were unconscious, intoxicated, and unable to consent. In one case, Sandage had searched for information about date rape drugs. In another, he also blackmailed a victim into doing sexual acts that happened over the course of 2 years. For more details on his arraignment and these cases, you can check out our website, WCIA.com. All events have been put on hold because of COVID-19, including the Illinois Marathon. Why that didn't stop one woman from reaching a particular goal. Plus, some kids wait years to be part of the perfect family. But one little boy was already with his. He just needed the court's official word. And the NFL draft may be different this year, but some Illini are still hoping to hear their names.